Hi everyone and welcome to Hobby World. Last year I 3D printed this naughty model of Daphne and Scooby-Doo. Now I'm going to go full circle and do the model of Velma, Scrappy and Shaggy. I have already 3D printed all of the parts for this model, so first of all I need to remove the supports. When all of the supports are removed, I will sand down all of the pieces to make sure that the surface is completely smooth and clean. This is very important regarding the final result of the project. Everything is assembled using super glue. I've been taking a look at the Velma model here after I primed it, and unfortunately it seems that I have some visible printing errors, or not errors, but I have these visible layer lines. This is much more than it was on the Daphne model, and this is actually so much that I'm going to do something about it, because the quality here isn't as great as I wanted it to. You can see here on the bottom of the ghost. I thought this would have been removed when I applied the primer, and it just didn't. So I'm going to fix this up, and then I'm going to reapply a primer, because I really want this to have a nice result. And in my opinion, there really isn't any reason to do collectible models such as this if I'm not going to do them right. So I'd rather spend the time it takes to fix this problem than I'm going to just paint them up like they are and then be a bit disappointed about them. To fix up the flawed surface, I decided to use the UV resin method. This is a great way of removing layer lines, small dents and imperfections in 3D printed models. It works by applying a coat of UV resin on top of the entire model and then hardening the stuff using a UV lamp, and it works really well. But the stuff is kind of poisonous, and I wouldn't recommend it in every case. You need to wear protective gear, you need to wear gloves and a mask when working with it. So it gives a nice result, but it is kind of tedious work. I have smoothed out all of the surfaces on the Velma model using resin with a bit of baby powder, and unfortunately during the process I damaged some of the fingers on Velma, and instead of trying to replace them, as some of them got lost in the process, I simply printed a new hand and attached it to the place where it had broken off. So I am going to fill this small gap up with some resin and then cure it, and then this model should be ready for priming again, and hopefully it will look much better this time. If we take a look at the ghost, the bottom here where the ghost was very rough before, it had all kinds of remains from the supports. It feels completely smooth to the touch, and when I apply the primer, it should be very visible that this model has had all of these layer lines removed. After applying the resin, I also sanded all of the parts down using a small piece of rather fine sandpaper with a foam bag, so I wouldn't apply too much pressure, and this turned out great. So let's just prime this model once more and then paint it up. As I came to the part where I'm going to do the base, I realized that this base is very dull. The model with the Daphne and Scooby-Doo over here had a tombstone and it had a small fence, something that made it a bit more interesting, but this one has absolutely nothing. And even though the model looks pretty good itself, I still think that it needs something on the base to make it look a bit more like a display. So I went on Thingiverse and I found some tombstones. I'll of course post the link in the description down below, and then I just scaled these one up and turned them a bit around so they suited my need. So right now I can place these on the base and I can make it look a bit more interesting than it did before, and at the same time make it look like it belongs together with this model. Thank you all for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed this video and that it has inspired you to do something like this. Personally, I really enjoyed making this model of Velma, and I think it turned out great. It also looks really nice together with the model of Daphne, so I am very pleased with how this turned out. If you have enjoyed watching this video and if you would like to watch more content like this, please consider subscribing to the channel. If you have any comments or feedback, I really appreciate it, so please post it down below. So let's just finish this video off with some pictures and videos of the final result. And once again, thank you all for watching, I really appreciate it.